as we get started here, I'm Mike Marshall. I'm on the product and sales team here at Benzinga, and I have a lovely guest with me, Mr. Brent Slava.
Well, thank you. Hey, everybody.
Brent, what do you do here?
I help run the news team. So we are filtering a million sources. We're filtering press releases, SEC filings, social media, Twitter, etc., and we're kind of curating it down into a hand-picked feed of all the top news items for the day.
Excellent. So you guys are, monitoring a lot of different sources, communicating with a lot of your network in investment banking, analysts, to provide to us the Benzinga Pro newsfeed.
That's great.
Excellent. So, what we're looking at right here is the register page. If you guys would like to go to this URL right here, you guys can fill out your name, phone number, email, password, hit next. It will generate some login credentials for you, and you will have access to the platform. Woo! It is just that simple. Brent, is there anything that you'd like to share with our guests today before we get started?
I think you touched on it. Talked about a little bit of our sourcing, a little bit of our exclusive stuff real quick. You kind of touched on. I think we're good. Let's start it up.
Excellent.
What are we talking about today?
Today we just launched, as you know, Brent, we just launched some new filtering abilities.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure our users were able to utilize that to gain an edge. So we're just going to take a deeper dive into the news feed and show people how to hone down their news feed so they're only seeing things that they want to be seeing.
Awesome. That is like one of my favorite ways I get to use the feed. So just kind of customizing headlines, customizing the kind of widgets I'm using. I use Benzinga Pro for a ton of research. I don't trade on Benzinga Pro, obviously. But I'm using Benzinga Pro to get me information as fast as I need it, and it works pretty darn well, I would say.
Excellent. And what's interesting is you're part of the team that is making the newswire, and you're utilizing the Benzinga newswire to also generate more news.
Let me give you a super quick example. So if I see news breaking right now, I'm looking up at my wire and I see that GE is raising its quarterly dividend. In a press release that is disclosing a dividend, a lot of times a company will give the news, the dividend, as compared to their last dividend the same year before.
Okay.
So GE, in the headline, it might say GE raises its dividend 25% from this to this. And people read that press release and they go, yes, GE raised their dividend. It happens a lot that in these press releases, because they're using the year-over-year comparison, it's actually already been disclosed that they're going to have a 25% increase in their dividend.
Okay.
So how I use Benzinga Pro to find something like that is I'll see the press release hit, I'll go to Benzinga Pro, I'll type in GE, I'll either filter by dividends or I'll use the keyword dividends. And Benzinga Pro really quickly, in a matter of a second or two, will show me the last dividend that we published a headline on GE. And I'll go, okay, this last dividend was 25 cents, and the press release now says it's 25 cents. There was no change. Basically, that press release was kind of noise for probably a lot of users.
Okay, excellent. And so what you're doing is you're trying to remove that noise and just give our users the news.
Exactly. Yep.
Excellent. So quickly, I'm just going to jump in here and show you guys a few things with our settings. So first of all, I'm just going to turn off this ticker bar down here at the bottom, just so it doesn't distract you guys and you can see a little more. And I'm going to turn it on so it's a little more clear.
Sure.
Also, in the settings, what you can do is you can test your sound. A lot of times we have our users saying that they don't hear anything for the squawk. So if you just go here to settings, click up here to accounts, you can test the sound and you can hear if your computer or if your squawk was working just right there. Also here in the settings tab are our alerts. If we wanted to set up a dividend alert right here, we could do so. So we have an alarm sound every time there's a dividend coming across our newsfeed. What I wanted to also do is show them how different headlines are going to be coming across. So market moving exclusive, exclusive, and hot. those headlines are going to be coming across as red.
By default, right?
By default.
We want you guys to see these ones. We feel that the guys and gals on the news team feel that if it's hot, exclusive, or market movement exclusives, it's notable enough that no matter where you are on the platform, we want your eyes to be drawn to that headline. And that's what these customization teams will do for you.
Excellent. So, you know, just another way to filter in the information. So you can set up these different themes. If you wanted to make the hot information a different color, you just click on the AA. If you
that little slider
and move it all around.
Nice.
If you wanted to get rid of it, you would just click this X right here. That is kind of some of the very basic settings. Why don't we hop in here on the news feed? So,
oh, Digital Ally halted with news pending. That's interesting. So this was a just breaking headline. This one just crossed right here. This is like a competitor, potentially a competitor for autonomous markets, autonomous driving. They use cameras to flag things in an automobile's path and potentially mark it for, you know, being something that shouldn't be there and the car should swerve around it, for example. So this could be interesting.
Interesting. I have noticed a lot of news out there on that rather big technology car company. So I wonder if this is something to do with that.
I don't know. That's kind of a crazy speculation. He said it, not me.
So once again, or just to let everyone know, this webinar is just for, you know, a better understanding of the Benzinga Pro platform, not meant for any trading decisions. So Brett, where do you want to start with the filtering feature?
Okay, so why don't you click the filter box there. So this is pretty new look right here, where it's sort of this tree and you can kind of like drill down. Why don't we just start at the top, start with sources. So
the default to Benzinga Pro, the very first time you log on, you're going to get hit with a filters 2. So that's going to be the default. It's going to be the Benzinga signals and the Benzinga wire.
Okay.
I'll go Benzinga signals. The easiest way I feel to understand it is it's a technology that our development team created, and what it does is it communicates with the exchanges. It's the best way I would explain it. And what it does is it just informs you guys on information that's happening in real time. So you notice the source right here on the right hand side of your screen, and these are all automated headlines that are coming across.
That's the ticket right there, the automation. Not that the Benzinga wire, which you're going to look at in a second, I'm sure, not that those aren't real time. It's just that there is somebody on the news team who's actually typing up those headlines. You can imagine sort of the natural delay in that. These things on Benzinga signals, these are happening within the second that they actually occurred on the exchange. So if you see an update for a stock that's halted, if you see a big block trade, if you see an option alert, if you see dramatic price action that's happening, and Benzinga signals is triggering these to happen, those happened literally a fraction of a second ago. So extremely real time, very automated. It's the only solution in Benzinga Pro that's automated right now.
Yep, and we are continuing to add to the Benzinga signals. So we do have the block trades, which is, I believe, our newest feature.
I think you're right, yeah.
We have 52-week highs. We have session highs. We have a lot of the option activity, like you said, halted.
Yep.
There's the T3 and the T1. Can you quickly tell us what the difference between those two are?
Right. So T1 is an indication that there's going to be some kind of news pending. When you see a T3, it's going to be a signal that the stock is going to resume shortly here. Right now, I believe it's set up for 5 minutes. It is. I can tell you it is because I know that Dextera, DXTR, and Redisys, RSYS, both resumed at 4:35. So basically, the idea here is you use Benzinga signals, you get an alert that a stock will resume. It's going to hit in about 5 minutes. That thing should start trading again.
Awesome. And another new thing, so once again, just to let everyone know, if you have not done it already, you can register for the Benzinga Pro platform and follow along with us. We also added a couple polls.
Ooh,
So, you know,
that's fancy.
we would love to get a little information on you guys out there so we can understand, you know, what type of level that we should be, you know, kind of preparing to give you guys the information in a rough way of saying it.
Yeah, it was just fine.
So
we got a couple of people pulling in. Keep them coming in here. You got about. Are you gonna put a limit on this, Mike?
yeah, just, you know, as we go, we got one other poll question. So if you can, you know, drop it in just another 30 seconds. We're going to keep going here. So I tried to give you an explanation of the Benzinga signal.
Yep.
Brent, what is the Benzinga wire?
Okay, so Benzinga wire is everything that's being generated by the Benzinga news team, the Benzinga Pro news team. And you can see over here, you got your wire code on the right. It says BZ wire. Things that come into the BZ wire would be either a headline produced by our real-time breaking news team or an article that's going to go on Benzinga.com. The difference there is the headlines that are generated by the Benzinga Pro breaking team, our objective is to get you the most information in the least amount of time. That means your headline, a press release hits, some color into what's going on in that press release is going to be out within a matter of a second or two or three if it's a very high priority news item. If it's sort of a lower priority news item, it might be a little bit longer than a few seconds, but it is going to be pretty real. It's going to be as real time as we can get it, basically. The thing about that is a press release, the title of a press release, the headline of a press release coming from one of the press release companies, PR Newswire, MarketWire, Business Wire, etc. They're not always the easiest to understand. Companies will sometimes try to hide information into a press release titled, company is announcing a dividend, just to use that example again. And then at the bottom of the press release, it says, oh yeah, we're cutting our guidance too. That's the news team's job, to go in there, find out what's important, the most important thing in a press release, and get it to you in a headline that is very easy to digest in a really quick manner. Those are your Benzinga Pro headlines, and you can tell if it's only a headline by looking at the sort of body of a headline. As we can see over here, is Twitter showing signs of life? You can see that's got like a normal case sensitive title, but you can also see in gray there is some color, and you can click on it like Mike just did right there, and you can see you get a full-length story. And what Mike did right there, he double-clicked to make it pop out. If you just single-click on it, it's going to appear inside of your feed, but then the sort of detriment of that is, click it again, Mike, and do it again one more time. You can see all these headlines below where that story opened up. When you click open the story, it like removes a lot of your headlines. So personally, to me, I like to use the double click feature.
Well, Brent, you have 8 screens in front of you as well.
So
not everyone has the luxury to have, you know, 8 27-inch screens in front of them like our friend here to my left. But yeah, so depending on your screen space or depending on your strategy, you can, you know, either look at it right here on your screen or open it up into a new window. So took a little bit of a dive into the signals in the BZ wire. I heard you mention press release and SEC filing. So what would we be, you know, what type of information would you like to share with us on press releases and SEC filing?
Cool. So I'm going to start this with like a direct, like I'm talking to you. If you are a user out there who wants as much information as they can get, if you like having a lot of like raw data and you like doing some of that digging yourself, you're going to want to try to use press releases or SEC filing. If you are a news user, if you digest news, you know, at a bit of a shallower level, you just need to know the bare meat of what's happening with a dividend news item or an M&A news item. You probably are going to want to use Benzinga Signals or Benzinga Wire. Press releases is what I use. So SEC filings is what I use. And how I use that is, you know, there are thousands of press releases that are hitting each day. Actually, can you control this, Mike? It's a little easier if you control. There's thousands of press releases that hit each day. the news team's job is to decide which press releases are notable for stocks, and then from there, which of those press releases attached to stocks are notable for those companies. We try to decide if a news item is going to be material for a stock, basically, for a company. Press releases is something that you want to use if you really want to understand all of that good stuff, if you need to know, comments from executives, if you want to know, the details of a conference call, that kind of stuff. I would only recommend this if you're pretty familiar with looking through press releases. I can tell you one thing about using the press release wire. Our system is designed to track when a word gets a ticker attached to it inside of a press release, meaning something like, see if I can find one really quickly. So there's a ticker right here. It says NASDAQ:MRVC. Our system is recognizing that kind of taxonomy right there, and it's flagging MRVC over here. So if you do want to use press releases, if you do kind of want to turn the fire hose on as far as information goes, what I would recommend doing is looking over here to the left side and looking at your ticker column. If you don't see a ticker listed there, it probably means that there's not a publicly traded company that has like an implication inside of that press release. You can probably ignore it. Now, what's going on with here with a couple of these other press releases? So this is showing you the wire code. So this is the Toronto exchange. So XCO here trades on the Toronto, and what we're trying to do over here is denote that if you're not interested in Toronto stocks, if you're only interested in trading U.S. equities, another press release like this, you can probably ignore. I mean, that's kind of how I work. That's kind of how I spend my day, going through some of these press releases. SEC filings, if you want to talk about that really quickly, that is going to be even more of a fire hose. If I said that there was a few thousand press releases that hit each day, there's multiple thousands of SEC filings that are hitting each day.
And you can see that right under this filter button. I mean,
look at all those SEC wires.
You're going to need, your internet is going to be working overtime here. I mean, look at these timestamps. These are seconds.
Exactly.
We have two, three, 4 headlines in 5 seconds here,
right.
And trying to digest this much information in 5 seconds is for the professionals.
That's right. Exactly what I was going to say, for sure.
So not trying to tell any of you guys not to utilize press releases, not to utilize SEC filings. When you're doing your research, absolutely, the more information you can ingest, the better. But if you're trying to stay on top of your news feed at a speed of this, you're going to need a team the size of Benzinga's.
Pretty much, yep. So let us do it. That's kind of the quick thing. So this might be a cool opportunity, Mike, where we can, if you're not a user who wants all of this raw stuff, I think there's still an instance where you want to have press releases or SEC filings on, and I want to show the users what we can do, how you can do that.
Excellent.
But I wanted to make sure you didn't have anything planned for about this time in the webinar. Do you have like a poll or anything?
We do have another poll as we go, and it's just to see if you guys would mind sharing with us your trading strategy. So as you guys are listening to Brent here, if you guys wouldn't mind answering that question, and we will just continue moving. So
cool.
What were you thinking, Brent?
So let me get a little set up here. So stay with me here, people. So I'm going to open another newsfeed. Let me show you how I'm actually using this newsfeed. And I think, there we go, cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do over here is on my left. So what I did right here, I jumped a couple steps ahead. So I clicked over here to another news widget, and it added another news widget over on the right. You can add up to 4 widgets. So I have 4 news feeds right here. So I want to just use 2 for right now. So I'm going to close these down. And I don't want to miss any breaking news that's coming in. So for this one over here on the right, I am going to turn off SEC filings and press releases. These are only Benzinga signals and Benzinga wire coming in over here on the left side. What I want to do with the right side is I'm going to have this right side be a search window. So anytime I was telling you guys before how I use Benzinga Pro to research. Anytime I have one of those research instances where I really quickly need to figure out what GE's dividend is or whatever, I'll do it in another widget like this. So how I think everyone can use something like press releases or SEC filings, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as my search window. So let's just try GE just as a random example. So right now, what I'm doing over on this right pane, this right widget, is I'm filtering all of the Benzinga signal or wire items that have hit for GE. We can see them all here. This is okay to understand right now. I can kind of understand this. However, if I'm a little bit more of a hardcore user and I want to see when press releases hit on GE or SEC filings hit on GE, let's add those in. And it's going to get a little more crazy, but there's some things we can do to make it a little bit more understandable. So, okay, so here we go. Pretty much usefulness is down a little bit because all of these Form 4 filings, I think these are Form 4s, yes, hit on GE. It's kind of clogging up our feed a little bit. So how do we kind of like dissect through these really quickly? So what we can do is I'm going to set some customizations over here. So where do I add my theme, Mike? I forget. Right here? Yep. Cool. Okay, sweet. So it's not there.
Is it? Are we zoomed in too far?
I don't think so. Let me see if I can get a little minus. It says drag and drop to arrange them.
It is in our filters now.
Ah, okay, my bad. This is a new change.
Yes.
Okay, sweet. So
you would just click on the dividend.
Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to set a color on my press release. So let's say press releases are kind of green and SEC filings, let's make them purple because I like purple. So I'm done here. So now, and I'm going to zoom back in a little bit. That should be good. So now what I got here is I know that if I see something in this search feed over here that I'm using dedicated as an item to search, if I see it's purple, I know it's an SEC filing. If I see that it is this kind of green thing, I know that it's a press release. And GE doesn't issue a lot of press releases, so maybe a bad example by me. Let's try something really quickly, see if I can, maybe let's try Digital Ally just because we know it's got some news coming. So I'm looking for some kind of green headlines. I don't see them. This is weird. Let me just make sure it's on again. So I got my source on it. It says press releases. I guess I just picked a couple bad examples, but the point is you're sort of finding a way here to, use this right pane as specific to doing some research needs you want, while also using the platform to kind of quickly point you to, okay, this is SEC filing. If I'm happen to be looking for SEC filings right now, I know they're right here. If I happen to be looking for press releases, which I can't find, I know it's going to be in this kind of like little green color. What do you think about that, Mike? How do you think that did? Think anyone got some value out of that?
I believe so. Let's see here if we can just find a company that issued a press release.
Let's see. I know that Qualcomm issued a press release today.
So are we not?
Go back to the filter real quick. Maybe maybe it didn't work when I tried to select it. So try to click off SEC filings, click it again.
Let's try here.
How about, what if you just try to make it a different color? Maybe it doesn't like that green. Yeah, try a little something else. How about a little yellow? So hit done, or yeah, you can close it there.
We'll also try a refresh here.
And you know what? It looks like there might just be a little bug here. That's no problem though. We'll get the developers on that real quick. Let's see if we can get this working really quick. I think you're gonna have to. Looks like it just doesn't want to work for us right now.
Yeah, we are. This is, I believe, a classic case of a fail.
That's all right. We're gonna get it fixed.
Yep.
Developers. Absolutely. I think Andrew Weiss is gonna get our developers on this already. He's running out of the room. He's going to talk to one of our developers to get this fixed.
So
sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Apologize. So what we're trying to do is show you guys how you can research through the platform and take a deeper dive into press releases, SEC filings, and really utilize the filters. So what Brent was doing was keyword search, was also linking up the press releases,
Yep.
the SEC filings.
Yep.
So let's maybe try something a little more macro, if you will, and maybe do some sort of if someone wanted to maybe search, just other activity or other keywords, what would you suggest, or how would you suggest them to
Sure,
to go
yeah.
through that?
So we're not actually using like the filters button for this, but we are filtering the feed. So it's a little bit different, but I like where you're going with this one, Mike. So let me, let's see. So one thing that you could do, I got a couple ideas here for you. So I want to point out, let's see, I'm trying to think of what the date is here. So there is an SEC filing called a 13F. And what happens in a 13F is 45 days, I believe it's 45 days after the end of a quarter, major hedge fund has to disclose all of its holdings over the quarter. And they'll do that through this filing called a 13F. And you can search that on Benzinga Pro. So I'm just going to search by a keyword here. That's keyword 13F. See what kind of results we get here. So you can definitely already sort of see down here, and I'm going to scroll down, and you're going to see just a ton more 13F headlines. You can kind of tell that they hit all at once. So right around, the 14th or the 15th must have been the 12th or the 15th must have been about the 45 days after the close of the Q1. So you see all these press releases coming in. So you see anytime there was a Benzinga Pro headline that said the word 13F, you can now filter that over here, and you can, see what Warren Buffett was doing. You can see what George Soros was doing, Bill Ackman, etc. Something else I want to show really quickly is, so let's say you are an opportunistic day or swing trader. You have stocks that you like, but you want to be opportunistic. You want to consider new ideas, and you're going, how am I aware of all of the stocks that are trading out there? Well, something that we do as a little bit of a taxonomy in our headlines is we'll use the word shares often. And why we would use that? What are these headlines revealing? Well, they're showing you stocks that are moving throughout the day. So if you're a trader who is interested in getting some ideas from stocks that are movers for the day, let's say maybe you want to, play some volatility. I'm just going to turn off Benzinga signals here so it's a little bit easier to read. This could be a good idea for you. You could search by shares, and what you're going to be seeing is you're going to be seeing a lot of price action indications. You're going to get a clear headline that says, okay, why is Qualcomm shares down after hours? Okay, Qualcomm shares are down up about 1% after hours following news of an infringement complaints against Apple. Let me just scroll down a little bit more here. You can see, a Blue Apron headline here that says, hey, Blue Apron shares are down 8% today. It doesn't seem like there's any news, but just a reminder that the stock is down about 20% since it went public just 5 days ago. I'm thinking of a headline on Twitter. I want to see if I can find it here really quickly. Here it is.
Could you add another keyword?
You could add another keyword. You can also add a ticker. So why don't we just do that just to make it a little easier on myself. So look at what we do here on the news team, ladies and gentlemen. So Twitter shares, for whatever reason, at some point today, I'm just clicking on, what I did right there is I clicked on this ticker, and it opened a chart here. This is called the details page. Over here on the right, you're going to get, an overview. You're going to get all the news categorized into one place. You can get a more advanced chart. You can look at some of the company's financials, income statement, etc., stuff like that. So right about here, let's see when we put out this headline. We put out this headline about 10:17 a.m. So I can actually kind of mouse over here, and we can find out that, the stock was apparently about at its highs for the day for whatever reason. What we did with the headline is we let you know that the stock's up about 4%. It's heavy volume. It's notable that the stock broke the $18 level. That might have been an important technical level for Twitter, but we also want you to know that at least as of then, at that time during the day, we didn't see any news. So it's kind of weird to be reporting on, but let me tell you this. I get people chatting in with me often who say, oh my gosh, what's going on with Twitter today? Somebody chatted in, let's say at 10:10 and said, hey, what the heck? Twitter's up 4% today. You guys don't have anything on it. Well, maybe there's not news on it. And if I can confirm that for people sometimes, they're relieved quite a bit. why they want to, in my opinion, why they're relieved is they just want to know that they're not up against some fundamental news. So what I mean by that is, you know, let's say you're a technician or you're a swing trader and you're just looking for a little bit of volatility in Twitter. You don't necessarily care what happens to Twitter long term. You just want to know that you're trading against other traders who aren't considering fundamental news right now in Twitter. If I can confirm for you, if I can look at all my sources and tell you, yeah, I see that the stock's up 4%. I don't know why. It doesn't seem like anybody else is reporting why. The person a lot of times will go, okay, good. At least there's no fundamental news I'm up against. It seems like maybe this is a technical move. I know I'm probably trading against other technicians right now.
Great. Brent,
yes.
We have spent about a half hour talking about different ways to filter through the platform. Also, if you guys have any questions or have anything that you would want us to go over, we can do so before we sign off here. So please let us know.
Give us some questions, dang it.
Yeah. Also, I will send a quick link to the payment portal, as well to the chat. So, you know, please let us know if there's anything else that you guys would like to know about, and we will be sure to cover it throughout the next few minutes.
Also, I would say maybe you don't have something for this webinar, but we do these weekly. Hey, maybe you didn't know that. We do these weekly. If you got ideas about things you want some more insight on the platform, send them in. You can send them here. You can chat them in. You can email me, Brent at benzinga.com. That's BRENT@benzinga.com. Or you can email Mike. That's Mike Marshall with 2 L's at benzinga.com. Email us. Let us know topics that you could sit here and listen to us talk for about a half hour next week.
Absolutely, and we are planning on getting a whole learning portal up that will have all of our previously recorded webinars. That will be launched in about a week or two, as well as a bunch of how-to videos, frequently asked questions, etc. So I am not really seeing too many questions come in, so I will take it one of two ways, and I won't talk about that. But yeah, really appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you for being dedicated listeners, for trying out the Benzinga Pro platform. We are, you know, striving to improve. We're making updates all the time, and they're all coming from your requests. So
get those requests.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let us know. Stuff you like, stuff you don't like.
If there's a platform that is just, you know, knocking ours out of the water and doing a much better job, let us know what that platform is, you know, so we can, you know, take some hints. We would love to know how we can improve, and you know, we're working hard over here. Brent, anything that you'd like to add?
I don't think so, no.
All right, well, until next Thursday, you know, thanks for listening, and see you guys then.